Nobody is paying attention to you in this way, Lucky. I don't know where you got the idea that you were the type of person that was going to be able to make these sort of calls. But this world that you're describing exists only within the confines of your own dense skull, okay? Lucky's Sereno standings are probably not at their all-time high point, given the fact that he turned down a fade with someone who was very motivated to fight him at that time, which was Bodyface. And Swifty Blue, you are banned from No Jumper. I'm never having you on this podcast again. You're a coward, and I wish that they had stabbed you to death in prison like they were trying to do.
Wow. Buenos dias, Gunners Collective TV. Back at it. You already know. Like a torta with some snack habits. Bye. Let's get to the intro. Welcome back to the channel, and if you haven't already hit that like and subscribe button, make sure you go ahead and do that. Put your notification bell on all so that way you're directing the direction of the dope content that the gun stays kicking, and I appreciate the support. Well, looky here. Someone's very upset, huh? Someone's all up in their emotions. You got me feeling emotions, like a Mariah Carey song. Someone's all up in their feelings, and it's not a happy feeling. Don't worry, Adam, be happy, right? Be happy, brother. Ooh. Look, let me tell you, Adam is mad. Why? Because Lucky from Hoodstocks had a podcast and he interviewed Swifty Blue. You can't have Swifty. That's my toy. Why are you so mad, Adam? Well, during that podcast, Lucky did take a few shots at Adam 16. And of course, man, you know, Adam's the one that introduced Lucky's name into the brass ring when it came to disrespect. Adam was the first one pushing a narrative on Lucky about the whole African booty scratcher bullshit, right? We know that, man. Hey, Adam stands 10 toes down firm in his belief that Lucky is some type of racist. I don't believe it. I believe it was just a comment made in bad taste. But it is what it is. I'm not here to protect anyone. That's not my motherfucking thing. Wow. Adam called Lucky a JCAT, went on to disrespect him in every different way. As you heard in the intro, man, saying that he's probably in bad standings within the Sureño movement. That's crazy for a civilian, a real JCAT, to even question somebody's gang status, not even knowing that man like that. And then goes on to say the ultimate, to go on and say that he wished Swifty Blue would have been stabbed and killed in prison. First of all, Swifty's never been to prison. Let's get that one out the way. But we understand that Adam, having never been to prison either, doesn't know the difference between prison and jail. It's all confinement. You're locked up. You're incarcerated. So it's all pretty much the same damn thing. You're just moving different and more heavier on a prison yard. Look, for him to even say something like that, you know, is crazy. Wishing death upon Swifty Blue, all because Swifty Blue went on another podcast. You're not welcome back. Nobody wants to go back. And in fact, him saying that Lucky is jealous and that Lucky is trying to ban Mexicans from going to the No Jumper podcast. Lucky never banned Mexicans. He just merely told Mexicans straight up, specifically Southsiders, not Norteños, not Bulldogs, not Chicanos, not Cholos, not anyone else, just Southerners, Southside rappers in particular, that if they were to go on the No Jumper podcast, they would not be embraced nor welcomed. There would be no canalismo for them on the Hoodstocks podcast. That's not threatening them. That's just saying, if you go over there, fucking stay over there. You know, that's a real righteous, educated individual that understands that everything that has to do with that podcast over there equals drama, equals Jerry Springer, equals you are the father, right? Or maybe he's not, since everyone else fucks his wife. I'm just saying, when it comes to Adam, you know, he's the type of dude who takes his toy to the sandbox and doesn't want anyone else to play with it. Then why the hell did you bring it? That's my toy, right? Treats individuals like Wes Watson does like possessions. Got mad when Lefty Gunplay didn't want to go on the podcast, right? When Lefty got some smarts about himself and wanted to charge him a whole bag, 10,000. Remember, to return to the podcast, Adam was disgruntled, upset. He sat there with Lefty and conversed and had a good old time and pumped him up and pushed him up and did all these types of things. And then when Lefty blew up a little bit and he wanted Lefty back on the podcast, and Lefty realized from different individuals that it wasn't in his best interest, what did Adam do? Him and Whack 100 sat down, Paru and Civilian Rue, right? And started talking a lot of shit about Lefty gunplay. I got to commend Lefty and give him respects. He never returned to that podcast. He got a quick understanding of exactly what that dude was trying to do, which was make fun of him and throw him under the bus. Because that's what them types do. What they do is they invite you and they smile in your face and you get embracement and you get a little fucking Snapple or whatever it is he provides, some hors d'oeuvres, and then him and Lush and Whack 100 sit around the table and talk hella fucking shit about you. The proof is in the pudding or on the internet. It's very simple. So Adam decides that he's going to continue this going in on Lucky. He feels Lucky is inferior to him. Why? Because he's brown? I don't know. Maybe that's being a little racial. But the fact remains that Lucky's podcast is upcoming and growing. He just had Akon on there. He sat down with Swifty Blue. He continuously sits down and has connections to a lot of people in the industry. And Adam is upset about it. Hey, a little bit of competition always breeds good business. I learned that a long time ago. You know what I'm saying? Over here's McDonald's, over there's Burger King. You know, I said Burger King and Sheila got all sparked up. Look, the fact remains is this. Adam calling Lucky a JCAT, is pretty crazy. He doesn't live that lifestyle. Adam is not a gang member. Adam is not part of that. And to sit there and utilize that word JCAT and throw it around like he even knows what it means. See, a lot of people on social media are using these words from prison now and have never been there and don't have a common or a righteous understanding of what the word JCAT means. I'm going to explain to you what JCAT means. A long time ago, it meant Category J, which was a designation by the CDCR California prisons to guys that were had mental issues, a little psychotic in some cases, some of them considered 5150. They were called JCATs by the inmates that were in the prison and on the prison yard because they were considered Category J. So guys thought they were cats. Catting out means going kind of a little bit crazy, right? A little tripped out. So that's where that nickname JCATs came from. Okay, now JCATs has been misconstrued and utilized by a lot of people that don't know what the fuck they're using it for to categorize a lot of people in a lot of different ways. Okay, again, a JCAT was someone who was catting out or someone who was off his medication or needed meds. That was a Category J JCAT. But Adam utilizes JCAT on Lucky like it's just like it ain't no thing. Is Lucky gonna take that standing or is he gonna crawl on his knees? Well, Lucky has issued a challenge to Adam 16. Adam's running around talking about Lucky dodged Sporty Face, that he was scared to take that fade. Now, whether he didn't take that fade or not, I don't think that had nothing to do with scariness. I think that had to do with time and opportunity. And I recall Lucky saying, again, that he was willing to take that in the streets to do it the real and righteous way, not in a ring for a bag. He wasn't trying to make money off of it. He made an apology to the black community, to which, for the most part, it was accepted by a lot of brothers, men that are real. People like Akon, a real brother from Africa that pulled up to the fucking Hoodstocks podcast. There's a lot of real ones out there. Anyways, now Swifty Blue pulls up and it's very controversial. And why is it controversial? Because of people like Adam that are making it so. To even say that you wished Swifty would have been stabbed to death in the prison system, right? Because he went on to Hoodstocks podcast. What does that say about you? You don't see anyone else saying, I wish that guy would be locked up, or I wish that guy would be hit, or I wish that guy would be whacked for pulling up to the No Jumper podcast. Adam is a civilian that is utilizing the streets of Los Angeles, the podcast, to demean gang members, to basically, put their business on the streets. And they're foolish, the ones that do go on there and tell this man anything. Because as you've seen throughout history, in the small history that it is of this podcast went from being about music, being about sports, being about everything, to transforming itself into a political gang atmosphere where everyone talks about their upbringing in gangs. Everyone talks about their background and crimes that were committed while being a gang member. Do you think that the feds are not watching these channels? Do you think that Adam, who has already stated pretty bluntly and straight up, I got to respect him for that, even though I don't respect the move. But the play is, hey, if Adam has ever questioned about any of you guys and anything that you've ever said, he's going to fully cooperate with authorities because, again, he's a civilian. I'm tired of that shit, man. You don't know how many times I call my boy Dubs and I rant and rave on the phone about the civilian word. See, back in the days when I was a gang member and gangs were doing their thing in the 90s when it was dangerous, right? Super dangerous. Everybody was trying to earn their stripes, make a name in the streets. The word civilian wasn't used loosely or lightly. Civilians were off limits. If you could prevent a civilian from getting hurt or being involved in what was going on between two rival gangs or you and someone else that you had a personal issue with, the more the merrier. That was always a good thing because civilians were getting people caught up left and right. Not because they were telling on people, because a lot of civilians that live in or around gang communities are of an understanding that it's not in their best interest to speak on certain situations or elaborate, especially when it comes to law enforcement. But at the end of the day and at the same time, I will say this, right? A lot of those civilians, if caught up in the gang mix, if they got shot or stabbed or something happened, that was considered a casualty of war. And at the end of the day, man, people did try to prevent it. See, nowadays, civilians want to be all up in the mix. They want to play gang. They want to look gang. They want to get tatted down. And then they want to fall back on gang members can't do anything to civilians. Maybe gang members can't do anything to civilians because that's their own moral compass. But guess what? They can do something to snitches. They can do something to people that are getting their nose up all in the motherfucking mix, all up in the Kool-Aid and don't know the flavor. And Adam likes to stir Kool-Aid. We know that. So for him to sit here and defecate on Lucky from Hoodstocks' name, his podcast, and basically challenge his status within his gang or his status on social media and basically saying that he ain't shit. He is not everything he says he is. Look, I've always respected Lucky. I'm going to continue to respect Lucky because he showed Norteños. This is the real reason. I'll be straight up. He showed Norteños and gave them an opportunity to speak without disrespecting and all that. I truly believe, man, that Lucky from Hoodstocks is going places because he's a true believer in raza. He's a true believer in giving everyone an opportunity, creating his lane and staying in it. Adam is not that. Adam is a white man, and I use that term loosely when it comes to Adam. He is a Caucasoid that actually lives off the sweat of the brow of the brown and black man, utilizes these guys to crash out people like Crip Mac, fair on 55th, cuz utilizes him, makes fun of him, sets him up, does skits with him, right? And doesn't have his best interests at heart. When he's done with him, he'll throw him out like yesterday's basura. And as far as anything else goes with Mexicans, he seems to be pretty adamant at being very inquisitive when it comes to asking Mexicans about their gang affiliation and their crime and their ops and things that could get him caught up in the streets because he knows, man, from a long history of knowing that Mexicans are not allowed to speak on social media when it comes to things that can get people caught up. But this new day and age that we're living in, people are not gatekeeping anymore. They're letting it all out, right? So it is what it is. Respects me, myself. I'm an ex-gang member. I am what is considered a civilian now. And I do definitely speak on things in the industry, man, that need to be heard. That's the word, right? I tried to educate and elevate. I tried to give people game without giving up game. But I get all kinds of ridicule and all kinds of punks and bitches and pieces of shits because of my status within my own gang that doesn't affect anyone else. I could understand Northerners or Norteños being a little bit upset with me, but I can't understand Southsiders, Bulldogs, and all these guys other than the ones that want to play the politics and really believe in order to be a gang member, you say nothing, yet they pull up to no jumper and say a whole lot, right? Adam has definitely tricked the raza and the black man into believing that he's some type of savior. He might as well post a picture like Trump did depicting him as Jesus Christ. Because at this point, man, this man thinks he's higher and more elevated and of more status than everyone else that pulls up to his podcast. Definitely someone who would fucking do you dirty. I promise that. And then claim civilian. To disrespect Swifty Blue in that form or fashion, wish death upon him. I'm not going to sit here and be a hypocrite and say I've never been in the position to do the same thing because I have. Unfortunately, sometimes you get upset and angry and the things that come out your mouth you really don't mean. You know, I'm here to say everyone that I've ever wished death upon, I apologize, man. because I know how it feels, because I get it done to me continuously. I get DMs wishing death upon me. I get people saying it outright on their podcasts or lives. People that, damn, I wish, if I had one wish, right? If I had one wish, it wouldn't be death upon someone, man. It'd be a whole lot of money and a whole lot of getting the fuck up out of here, right? That's how it would be. But I'm not going to sit here and say I'm innocent. People say things when they're upset. We're going to chalk it up to the game and say that Adam 22 was just saying that because he's upset with Swifty. I think he feels that he showed Swifty love. He gave him a platform and that Swifty switched up on him. He hood hopped, right? He podcast hopped. But that's not the case, because there's plenty of other people that create their own podcasts, that go from podcast to podcast doing interviews. You know, you don't see Adam saying that about Burner. You don't see Adam saying that about Diggs. You don't see Adam saying, you know, that about there's a couple other people, man. I'm not going to just keep throwing names around, but you understand. But when it comes to people like Swifty, people who he feels like are in bad standings, or he could punk, or gang members, or people that he's had interaction with, do you notice that he throws them under the bus and he talks shit? You notice that, right? Come on now, man. People realize, wake up, hey, wake up, everybody. There's no sleeping in bed. Adam talks about Swifty like he's wanting him dead. The world is full of bullshit, and Adam is the king. And if you believe that Adam won't tell on you, I guaranteed he'll sing. He'll tell on you. That's just a fact. He told you he'll tell on you. But this is what Adam does. These are the moves he makes, and he disrespects Lucky at every angle he can. But Lucky has called Adam out. Now, I know there's going to be a lot of people, oh, he didn't want to fight Sporty Face, but he wants to fight Adam. Right? Sporty Face is not continuously disrespecting him. Sporty Face said what he said in basically, you know, standing firm in his belief for his people, standing strong for his people. I respect the fuck out of it. I respect Sporty Face for standing strong on his beliefs and backing his people up. Lucky did the same thing. Adam doesn't back his people up. Adam backs his people up into a corner and extorts them basically for financial gain. This is what this type of culture vulture does, man. You know, and to say that about Swifty because he went on another podcast, look, Swifty might have said something that Adam didn't like. You got his number, homie. Pick up the phone and call him. Hey, Swift, why'd you say that shit? I didn't expect you. What you want him on from Lena? I mean, we can make it right. You could have did a whole lot of things, but instead he takes to the internet 4 clicks, 4 views to rile up the audience, and goes as far as saying he wishes Swifty was stabbed to death in prison. That's unfortunate, and that's fucked up, man. If you notice, when it comes to the raza, this guy doesn't care if you die. He doesn't care how hurt you get. This man has a bone to pick with brown men. I don't know what it is, but if you can't see it as clear as day, get your Ray Charles ass up out of here. It's the truth. You know, I'm not hating or disrespecting that man. I'm keeping it 100. 100. These are facts. This is truth, right? As far as Lucky goes, Hoodstocks, that was a good ass interview with Swifty. He did way better than Adam could have ever done. Adam always, so how'd your teeth get like that? Are those real diamonds? So I heard the Serranos want to kill you. Is it true? Right? He'll ask stupid shit like that. Shit that doesn't even involve him or shouldn't be asked. Whereas Lucky did a smooth operator. He did a Sade, right? He did a smooth operating ass podcast. Asked the good questions, reflective of the good answers. And it was what it was. Everyone that has watched that Hoodstocks interview with Swifty, I recommend you go watch it if you haven't, was a good one. Okay? So to sit there, Adam, and be mad because they had a unprecedented great conversation and it turned into a good podcast, man, that's just plain blatantly straight up hating. But this is the type of dude that will hate, will talk shit, will call people out, will disrespecting them, calling them JCATs, will wish death upon them, will do all that and then hide behind that title of civilian. Again, I'll explain to you and reiterate, man. Civilian pertains to people that are minding their own fucking business and people that are out there just doing their thing. They're civilians. They're not gang members. See, gang members is not what the whole world's about. Not everyone cares. Not everybody fucking cares about gang members. There's people that live their life that never see gang members, nor do they even acknowledge or even know what they are because they're too busy paying bills, working, and doing their thing. But see, Adam's whole vibe revolves around gang members. It has to be. If they're not doing nothing, he's not making no money. That's the facts, right? I'm not going to be a hypocrite. Yes, a lot of the content I also do revolves around gang members and what's happening. But you got to understand, I come from that cloth. I come from that life. I have a great understanding of that life. I'm klechad up when it comes to something. I'm going to be dropping another video later on today, giving you guys klecha on the Norteño movement as far as the foundation. And the reason I'm going to do that is because some idiot put a post up on another platform that claims to be some high power Southsider, and he doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. If you don't know your own history, homie, then you definitely don't know the Norteño history. That's just the truth, right? Anyways, with that being said, I just wanted to say Adam disrespected Lucky to the highest degree, calling him a JCAT and questioning his standing within the gang. And as far as Swifty, man, that was the ultimate disrespect. You're not welcome to come on my podcast. Motherfucking Swifty Blue would be a fool ever to go on that podcast. How foolish is he? I guess we'll find out. Let me know what you guys think. Thumbs up or thumbs down. Heavy's going to be the head that wears the crown. I'm going to continue to strive, struggle, and strive for what I honestly and truly believe in, and that's the betterment of all people. This video is sponsored by Barrio Liquors in Turlock, California. If you're in the Turlock area, pull up to the Barrio and get you something cold to drink. Also sponsored by Sticks and Stones Yard Service in Tucson, Arizona. If you're in the Tucson area, look up Sticks and Stones if you need some yard work done, and the homies got you covered like a state blanket. Itchy, pero warm. Adam, he's on that bullshit. On Paru!